Hi guys. Hi. Nice to meet you
Hi.
all. Yeah, we are proud to have Mr. Joie Koo today, our ex-photographer from Malaysia. So and also hi everyone. Today we are happy to have you all on a public holiday. Today is a Vesak Day, so happy Vesak Day to everyone. And hi Joey.
Hi, Kenny. How are
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Joey, basically today,
Hey.
we start a session at 3. Then, hopefully, today, we can teach more people on the topic that we are going to share today. So, first of
Focusing
all,
on
yeah,
your sharing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can take it as a sharing. Yeah. So today, basically, let me introduce a bit on Joey. So Joey is actually a fashions and also commercial photographer. He did shoot some fashions and also commercial stuff as a living. But his hobby is actually on dance photography. So I was like actually quite surprised and found it interesting when I first met Joey back in 2018. Yeah, I guess 2018. That time I just joined Fuji. So you told me that actually your hobby is about shooting dance photography. So I think this genre is very niche and quite interesting to someone that actually is actually never tried dance photography. I think this topic or today's sharing will be something very interesting to everybody, right?
I hope so.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm.
So without further ado, I think I'll just pass the whole presentation or the whole sharing sessions to Joey. So Joey will tell everyone more about this. Yeah. So Joey, are you ready?
Yeah, I am ready. Thank you,
Okay.
Kenny.
Okay. Then I'll
Hi.
just pass the floor to you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. I am Joey. I am the ex-photographer of Fujifilm Malaysia. So today I will share a little bit about my dance photography, my passion about dance and photography. Okay. So before I go into this, I want to do a little bit, talk a little bit about my background, how I started. I started dancing and photography since my teenage time. I love them both and still is. My dream was to become a professional dancer, joining dance company and tour around the world dancing. Yeah, but being raised in a very traditional, conservative Chinese family, and I am the eldest son. It's nearly impossible for me to chase that dream. Well, from my parents' point of view, how am I going to feed myself and raise my own family by becoming a dancer? Can you imagine that? So I had zero support from them chasing my dream. Yeah, my parents never supported me to become a professional dancer. And during that time, IT was blooming, information technology, right? Thus, I had full support from them and I dived into the IT world. I done my college studying computer and worked for several years in the corporate IT industry. I even set up my own IT company doing data automation. I thought that would be my entire life. But even though I never stopped dancing and taking photographs throughout my study and corporate life, I consider myself a right brainer. Analytical and mathematical thinking are just not my kind of things. Yeah. So dance and photography were my medicine to overcome my stressful, dull, and dry IT life. Seriously. Yeah. So when I was working in the IT world, I still do my dance and I still do photography. And when I bought my first DSLR, yeah, I began to accept some freelance photography jobs. mostly weddings. Yeah, of course. During that time, in photography, wedding photography is also blooming. So with some luck, determination, and a voice behind my back saying, enough is enough, I decided to quit IT. But becoming a dancer was no more an option for me, as I'm already too late to restart. Yeah, I'm too over that. Started my photography business and never looked back since then. Well, doing what I love to do, besides dancing, photography. And talk a little bit about me and Fujifilm. So how I started with Fujifilm. My first camera was X Pro 1. When I first have my hands on this X Pro 1, I love the build quality. I love the aesthetic of it. I love the look of it. But when I try it, the function, the focusing were just not that. The focusing was too slow. And to me, I need a very fast focusing performance. I am a DSLR people right during the time, and I was a full frame user. And what I know it's actually a APS-C system. What's APS-C? You have to go full frame if you want to be a professional, right? At that time. So I just have a look, and I never bought the X Pro 1. Somehow, the feeling of that camera in my hand haunts me for quite some time. Then one day, when I heard the news that Fujifilm actually upgraded the firmware of X Pro 1, I was quite surprised. What do you mean by upgrade firmware and improving the functionality of the camera? I've never heard of that. So people told me that after the firmware upgrade, X Pro 1 was actually have better focusing, and every function is like upgraded. It's like a new camera. So when I heard that, I bought my X Pro 1. That's how I started with Fujifilm. Of course, even though the upgraded functionality still is not up to the performance that I'm expecting. X Pro 1 was just my hobby camera or fun camera. I bought it to my assignments to shoot behind the scenes and to shoot some fun photos. But the X Pro 1, the more I fall in love with it. Means the image colors, and it was JPEG output, just JPEG output. I fall in love with it. Yeah, even though it's JPEG. Then after X Pro 1, Fujifilm released this XT series, which was the XT series. My first XT camera was the XT1. So after that, I've been using XT series, XT1, XT2, and XT3, and now the latest XT4. I've been using all these cameras from Fujifilm, even the GFX system, the medium format. If you want ultimate image quality, go for GFX. XT3, you mean like from XT1, XT2 to XT3, XT3 is actually a game changer in this mirrorless APS-C system. Well, the performance, the technology, and it's really very up to the par and meets all my requirements. Then the GFX 100, the world's most affordable 100 megapixel digital medium format camera with internal stabilization. Fujifilm has all these different cameras, different system for different needs. And of course, the X Pro 3. Okay, so I've been using Fujifilm for quite a long time. All the
camera.
Yeah.
I see. You see.
So you know what camera system that I've been using, and I want to share a little bit about my work. So I do fashioning, conceptual portraits. Yeah. Using Fujifilm system. So the photo you see here is actually my first official assignment using Fujifilm system, shooting for magazine cover. Right. During that time, I still had this full frame system with me and the XT1. To me, XT1 is like just like a backup camera to back up my full frame system. I had two full frame cameras during that time. So with the XT1 aside. So before I actually started the shooting, I looked into my full frame cameras and the XT1. So I had this telling myself to use the X Pro as the XT1 to shoot this assignment. So that's how I started using Fujifilm system to shoot for assignment. But during that time, my art director, he was very he was not convinced at all. He said, "How can you use a small camera to shoot this assignment? Do you know who this is? Any idea?" "Yeah, this is Amber Chia." "Are you crazy enough to use a small camera to shoot this assignment?" I told the art director, "Why not? If the small camera, cannot perform up to the expectation, I can just go back to my the system." So somehow I used XT1, and the shooting, the rhythm and everything was just very smooth. It's there, and the output actually amazed the art director. And since then, I've been using Fujifilm for all my work, for magazine cover, fashion, and commercial. Yeah, it's just to share some works with of me using using Fujifilm system. These are all shoot for magazine covers. All right. So throughout the journey, I have worked with numerous talented makeup artists, hairstylists, fashion designers, and art directors. So always remember, don't just credit a single entity for an achievement display. The outcome is a collective effort of everybody, the photographer, makeup artist, fashion designer, everyone, to achieve all these images, right? Yeah, underwater is also one of the things I've tried using Fujifilm system. But of course, I put it in underwater air, the air resistant casing. So of course, I also do this kind of portraits. And this was my personal project, doing some conceptual portraits, right? And not just portraits, I also work in movie productions as a still photographer. There are people saying that APS-C system is not suitable for professional work. But for this movie production as a still photographer, I use XT1. Yeah, 16 megapixel during that time, 16 megapixel only. And many people say, APS-C system, what is that? It's not full frame. But I use XT1 to shoot for this movie production. You know, the biggest advantage of using mirrorless system in a movie production is that you can practically stand beside the DOP to get the identical compositions and angle. Why? Because of the silent shutter. You know, if you're using a DSLR system, you either use a telephoto lens to shoot from far away, or you use a very inconvenient camera soundproof box. And the outcome actually was the director. I mean, he was very satisfied of the outcome of all the images using the X Pro one, the XT1 that I've been using throughout the whole shooting process. I all shoot with ISO 1006 and above. Imagine using APS-C only. But the outcome still is incredible. Then I also do stage photography. This was an Eason concert. I was not the official photographer. Somehow I brought in the XT1 with the kit lens to shoot in this concert. Yeah, XT1 with the kit lens, the 1855, the small lens. Well, if you know your equipment well, doesn't matter if it is an APS-C, full frame, or medium format system, because you are the one who need to understand your system and unleash its full potential. Okay, so you all know this is Lee Hong, right? Wang Lee Hong. I was the official photographer for this concert. Still, I was using Fujifilm X-T1. To me, highest end equipment or latest gear means nothing if you don't know how to use it. For this concert, I used 2 units of X-T1 and 2 lenses, the 10-24 f4 and also the 51-4 f2.8. So you can see that the very first generation of XT series was already a very capable camera doing professional work, right? Of course, and I also shoot stage performances like dance and theater play. And we shall talk about it more later, as this is the main topic of today. These are just some samples. Yeah, this was taken during the Beijing International Dance Festival. Yeah, I was being assigned to shoot for this dance festival. And I was not the only official photographer for the festival. There was another official photographer beside me. I want to share a very interesting experience during I shoot this assignment. At that time, I brought the X Pro 2, yeah, and using the 50-140 zoom lens to shoot this assignment. And the other photographers, he was using a flagship full frame cameras, yeah, and big lens, big bodies, I think, and he was beside me. Comparing my Fuji X Pro 2 and the flagship DSLR, the size, it's just not comparable, it looks more professional with the bigger camera, right? Mm-hmm. But when the shooting started, it was during the rehearsal, yeah. The director of the show was few rows in front of us, yeah. And both of us, the photographers, were taking photos. That guy, that full frame DSLR guy, he shoot all the way using the fastest the FPS, the frame per second. I don't know whether it's 8, 11, or 15 frames per second. So you know how the sound of the DSLR, right? The flagship cameras, all the way, right? As for myself, I was using silent shuttle. There's practically no sound from my camera. And after 10-15 minutes of the rehearsal, suddenly the director stood up and turned to us, stopping the performance and telling with the loudest camera to stop the work. Imagine that. Had to stop the shooting, and I was the one who left to shoot throughout the performance, right? So what I'm saying is, you need to find a suitable ground for the camera to perform. It's not like you're not allowed to use a full frame camera to shoot dance performance, but you have to understand some rules in the theater, right? You cannot disturb the audience, and you cannot disturb the performance. So that's one of the interesting experience I had during this shooting assignment. These are some samples during the shoot. All right. So today it's all about dance photography. Yeah. So you may ask, what is dance photography? To me, it's a photography genre about taking images of dancers when they move their body. Makes sense, right? So as a photographer, your goal is to capture the dancers' movements and poses to tell the story through body language and the beauty of dance as an art form. Makes sense, right? So there are two types of dance photography. The first one would be dance performance, like the samples I showed just now, and the second one is actually dance portrait. So let's talk about dance performance. Okay, dance performance on stage. All right, so the dance performance will have a complete lighting, set design, costume, and of course a well choreographed dance work. Everything is set, right? So as the photographer, you do not have any control over the dances, performance. You only have full control of your camera, right? You cannot control any other things except your camera. I want to use this assignment that I done last year as an example. It was the International Ballet Superstar Gala in 2019. Last year, happened in Istana Budaya. I was using X Pro 3 that time. Yeah. So all this are captured using X Pro 3. So dance performance is all about capturing the best moments happening on stage during the dance performance. Okay, you want to ask, how are you going to prepare yourself for stage dance photography? The first thing that I want to tell is you need to learn how to appreciate dance, not just for the sake of taking photos. Right? Make sense? Try to enjoy the dance performance. Try to feel the story behind the dance movement or understand the concept of the choreography. Yeah. So how are you going to do that? The easiest is to attend dance concert or even dance competition. It will help you to understand different types of dance genres, such as ballet, contemporary dance, ballroom dance, traditional dance, hip hop, and any other different kind of dances. Like I said, I shoot this someone using X Pro 3. To some photographers, X Pro 3 is a camera for street photography. Yeah, if you want to do street photography, you have to use X Pro 3, and X Pro 3 is only for street photography. Yeah, but to me, it's not. It's a performance beast in a different form factor. So if you have tried X Pro 3, you know it's actually a rangefinder style where the viewfinder is on the left side of the camera, right? It's just a different form factor. And you know, the focusing performance of -6 EV of X Pro 3 is very useful in very dim lighting conditions. Like this shot, the lighting actually is very dim. And also the continuous focus performance and the burst rate of 11 frames per second makes it also very capable camera for dance performance, right? Okay, so I want to share a bit about technique or tricks to capture better photos for dance performance. Of course, you need to use high ISO, fast shutter speed, and large aperture. Okay, my favorite lenses for dance performances are actually 1655 f2.8 or the 5140 f2.8. Depends on the distance from my shooting location to the stage. Okay, and remember to stay away from the stage. Yeah, nearer doesn't mean better in most cases. Further from the stage means you can see the whole stage better, as lighting and set design are also playing a very vital part in dance performances. Don't just concentrate on taking close up of the dancers, right? Try to shoot the whole environment of the stage. Yeah. Ballet. So how to freeze the moment on stage, like that is, yeah. Shutter speed, you actually need around 1/400 seconds or even faster shutter speed. And use continuous focus tracking with fast frame per second shutter. Yeah, like the X Pro 3, 11 frames per second, if not per second. Yeah, use a continuous focus tracking and shoot like a machine gun, all the way. That's one of the way to capture this amazing freezing moment on stage, right? But for myself, I prefer to capture the moment with a single click. To me, this is the joy of doing dance photography. Yeah, how to do it. So imagine you're using the fastest FPS, like the 11 frames per second. You just press the shutter and you can actually capture the best moment within this 11 frames per second photos. One of them will be the best images, right? The best. But what if you can capture that single image with just one click? I mean, I love to do that, and I always wanted to do that. So how are you going to do it? So you learn how to follow the music rhythm and do the countings. So follow the music rhythm, listen to the music and do the countings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, this is how you can synchronize yourself and the camera with the dancer on stage, or breathe together with the dancer to capture the peak point of the dance movement. Yeah. So what is peak point? It is the point where dancers' extension of body line reach the longest or furthest, like the picture I'm showing you right now, the most dramatic moment that you can capture. This is what I call peak point. If you can capture this peak point with just a single click, to me, that's a joy. But if you make use of the fast frame per second to capture this moment, it's also workable because Fujifilm is capable of doing that, right? Like this one, capture that moment. Okay, so instead of just freezing the movement on stage, sometimes it's also interesting to freeze the motion on stage, like this one, to capture some motion on stage. Like this one, also done during this Beijing International Dance Festival. As for the setting for the cameras to shoot such images, yeah, you need to use slow shutter, like 1/2 seconds, half second. The fastest you use is actually half a second, around, or maybe the fastest you can use 1/10 second. And you need to use tripod. But the latest X-T4 with the 6.5 stops of image stabilization, I can achieve this kind of shoot without the tripod. Yeah, soon I might try that. So other than that, what about freeze the moment and the motion? And then this kind of image will actually add more layers to your photos, right? You see, there's a still, and also there are some motions happening in this frame. More layers. And this one. Okay, so more tips about capturing dance performance. Okay, if you have the chance, talk to the choreographer or the dancers to know more about the concept of the dance. You will be able to understand the idea behind the dance on a deeper level, and this will help you a lot in your image capturing. Okay, the other thing is you can watch the rehearsal of the dance performance. Then you will know what you are dealing with and enable you to anticipate the moments to press your shutter. Yeah, watch the rehearsals, because before the actual dance performance, there are multiple rehearsals right before that. Attend these rehearsals so to get familiarized with the whole dance process, right? And use electronic shuttle, as the theater might fill with audience and the camera shuttle sound would disturb them. Remember that? LCD screen, as the light of the screen will be very annoying to audience. Yeah. But I always encourage to shoot during rehearsals. I have heard, official photographers arguing with audience during performance numerous times. I know as a OP or official photographer, you are doing your job, but don't be a self-centered photographer. By all means, do the shooting during rehearsal. If you really need to shoot during performance, stay at one spot. Don't move around, yeah. And use a silent shutter and turn off the LCD screen. These are the advices I want to share with you all. Okay. Okay, so that was about dance performance. The next thing I want to share with you is about dance portraits, which I love to do and I'm still doing it, right? As a photographer, you can create the images you desire together with the dancer. Yeah. Depends on your concept and ideas. It can be on location or in a studio. And the interesting part, you are in control on most of the elements like location, lighting, costume, shooting angle, even movements or poses of the dancer. You're in control of everything, mostly everything, but you work together with the dancer. Okay, so how to get into dance portrait photography? First thing you need to do is learn how to dance. Okay, because knowing some basics will help a lot during the shooting, especially when communicating with dancers, right? If you can know what is the difference between attitude and arabesque, what is pirouette, what is grand jeté, or any other dance term, will help a lot. Or you can use more layman terms like jump, arch back, kick, stretch, extend, turn. These terms are also workable. Learn how to communicate with dancers in their terms. Okay. Okay. To shoot dance portraits, you have to work with the dancer as a partner, not a shooting subject. Okay, make sense? Always discuss with the dancer about the concept and idea before or during the shooting process. Make use of the online resources like YouTube, to know more about dance, and do your homework, study and learn about dance in non-physical way. Means what? So in a way, you don't actually need to take up dance classes in order to shoot dance photography. But it doesn't hurt if you learn some dance moves, and I encourage you to do so. Yeah, try to take some dance classes so you will understand more about dance and will help a lot in dance photography. Okay, like this shot, yeah, was taken in Streets Key, I think. Yeah, Streets Key, yeah, near Penang Pack. And the dancer, her name is Xin Yin. I actually watched her grow since the high school time. One of the most determined dancer wannabe. And now she has become a professional dancer working in Singapore. Yeah. Okay. My personal preference of dance portrait is to capture the relationship between the dancer and the environment. Yeah. Something like in the environmental portrait. You know environmental portrait, right? Yeah. Because I like to work at different locations, be it indoor or outdoor, and explore the possibilities of the dancers in that space. Yeah, that's my preference. Yeah, and always start the shoot with simple movement or poses. Yeah, slowly when the dancers and the photographer or you become more warmed up, you only start with more complex and difficult shots. Don't straight away ask the dancers to jump like 10 times, 3 times. Don't do that. Start with something simple and simple movement, something easy and simple. One thing I love to work with dancers is they are very daring and they're willing to go dirty with me. Like this shot near the construction site, the pair of point shoes that she was wearing is actually a very expensive pair of shoes, point shoes, few hundred bucks, right? After this shoot, that pair of shoes practically went into the trash can because that pair of shoes was covered in red mud and cannot be used on stage anymore. But of course, We discussed the idea before the shoot, and we know what we need to prepare. That pair of point shoes were old and it's ready to retire. So that's why we use that pair of shoes to shoot for this project and let it get dirty. And I call this shot Beauty and the Beast. I'm not sure if you can see the Beauty and the Beast, but try to find the Beauty and the Beast in this image. Okay, so that's another shot. It's done in the mangrove forest, Tanjung Sepat, if not mistaken. It's a hauntingly beautiful location, I tell you. Yes, the mangroves there, actually they are dying. And we wanted to tell the story of the mangrove forest. Because before I tell the dancer what to do, she already went into the space and started dancing with tree trunks and mud. That's beauties working with dancers, self-initiate and not afraid of getting dirty. So that's what I mean of getting dirty. Dancers, they are more flexible, not just in terms of body. Generally, they are more willing to accept challenge, to work with different environment, more daring to explore idea or concept together with me. I mean, the photographer, compared to most models that I've worked with for fashion and portrait shoots. Yeah, dancers are more daring and more flexible. But even so, you must respect the dancer and be moderate, right? Not to force the dancers too much to achieve what you want for the shots, okay? And always communicate with your dancer. Discuss what you both want, not what you want, but what you both want for the outcome. Okay. Okay, this dancer, she's Peyton, one of the dancers that I love to work with, but now she's living in Kyoto, Japan. Yeah. One thing I feel sad about Malaysia is there are very less platforms or environments for performing artists to survive. I mean, many talented dancers or artists, they need to leave Malaysia to chase their dream. Well, isn't it sad? Okay, that's enough about it. Let's talk about dance. Okay, so this shot was taken in Shibuya, Tokyo. And I met this dancer, Kade, through an art festival in Malaysia, KL, 2 years back, I think. So when I went to Tokyo, I was in contact with Kade. So we talked about to do a dance portrait in the busy street of Shibuya. Yes, I always want to create shots like this in Malaysia, but it's very hard to get this kind of crowd on the street in Malaysia, not even in KL. I've scouted multiple locations, but I still cannot get that Shibuya human crossing image. So I got it in Japan, in Tokyo. And the other things I like to do most is actually shooting with sky, sea, and dances. These three are one of my most favorite combination. So this is Toru. He's a former principal ballet dancer at STD, and now I think he's a dance lecturer in NAFA, Singapore. And so the sea, the sky, blue sky, blue ski, and dances. These are my favorite combinations. This is Charlene. I think she's a rhythmic gymnastic coach in Malaysia, right? And yeah, Joanna, another amazing dancer whom I met during a site-specific performance in KL, I think last year. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, her husband is one of the frontliners working in hospital during this COVID-19 crisis. Wow. And this shot was done in Penang during a rainy day. And inspired by Gene Kelly's Dancing in the Rain. I've watched that Dancing in the Rain. That's one of my inspiration. But this shot is actually a melancholy way of presenting dancing in the rain, not as happy as Gene Kelly's. Yeah. So the dancer, she's Suki. We danced together when I was young and she was still very young at that time. Yeah. Now she's still pursuing her dance career. Also, one of my favorite dancers, she's willing to dance in the rain and not calling me crazy. Okay, so this is Jennifer from Hong Kong. She's a contemporary dancer that I met through Facebook, I think. Yeah. We only talked a few times in Facebook and never actually met each other before the shoot. The shoot was done right after her workshops in KL. And we met, and for the first time, and straight away we went into the shoot. It's like an improvisation in dance. Sometimes unplanned shooting will give you some interesting things to come up. It's like an improvisation process, right? Oops. And dance portrait is mostly about body language and lines. But sometimes it's also interesting to capture the facial expression of the dancer. And I guess this will create create more impact on your images. Okay, and these are the two ballet dancers in Tokyo, Japan. Okay, it's very interesting to meet ballet dancers in Japan. I've never thought of shooting ballet dancers in Japan. And this is Nadia. I knew her through friends Aoi and Saman when they were in Malaysia, and I was in Tokyo. This Nadia was introduced to me to create this series photos of ballet dancer. I call it Gypsy in the Wood, and the other dancer was Coco. So it was an interesting experience to meet the ballet dancers in Japan. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about shots like this. You, as a photographer, you try to make use of the environment, create incredible visuals in ordinary space like a service apartment or a hotel room when you are traveling. Yeah. Of course, when you talk about dance, most likely the dancer will need a lot of space to perform, right? But I always like to challenge the dancer and myself. What can we do in a tight space? What kind of story we can tell through the images in a tight space? Well, believe me, if you push yourself or the dancer hard enough, the result might surprise you. Yeah, something like this. All this was done in a hotel room. So you don't have to use a very big space for the dancer to perform. Not really. Yeah. Like this shot, it was shot in the MRT train. And you have to be you need to do this in a very specific hour because most of the time the train will be crowded with people, and you can only do it like almost midnight, like 11 p.m. something. So find this kind of space to work with. Okay. Okay, this shot was done in Penang also. I want to share something about observing your surrounding areas because you might find interesting background for your dance photography. Even the location might be just a common place for most people. Train your eyes and mind to see things beyond their surface. So don't just don't always look for fancy locations. Look around you, your neighborhood. I think you might be able to find some interesting location for you to do your dance photography, right? Okay, let's talk about this series. I call it the Cultural Diplomacy series. Okay, it is a concept about it's a concept about conversations between different cultural elements. I actually did this for Fujifilm during last year's GFX 100 launching. Yeah, sorry. As authors or a creator, your imagination can run wild. Yeah, you can have tons of ideas or concepts, but most time you might need fundings. You might need fundings to make your ideas into reality. Else ideas are just ideas. Well, and thanks to Fujifilm, one of my ideas became reality, the Cultural Diplomacy series. So from here, you can see that art needs support from corporates. Yeah, it's always about artistic value or versus commercial value. Yeah, it's always debates about this too. What's artistic and what's commercial, right? So for myself, I'm still trying to find a common ground between these two values, practicing through my artworks to find a balance. Yeah, about artistic value and commercial value. Okay, like I'm sure you all know about Steven Spielberg, right? The filmmaker who created E.T., Jaws, Jurassic Park, and many other movie blockbuster. And when he created this Schindler List, have you heard of movie Schindler List? Go Google about it. It was a black and white movie in the modern era. Yeah, many people think it was a crazy act, but the movie became so powerful and it won many awards and also become a holy grail of many people to learn about lighting, and including me. I learned a lot about lighting through this movie. Of course, I'm not comparing myself to him, but his statement about creating an artistic movie after 10 commercial blockbuster movies still inspire me to keep on doing what I love to do. Yeah, he's one of my inspiration. Okay, let's talk about camera settings. For me, there's no absolute camera settings for dance portrait. And if you want to freeze the action, use faster shutter speed. Normally, 1/400 seconds will be my lowest speed if I'm shooting with available light or continuous light source to freeze action. Yeah. And if it's just dance pose, you can be slower than 1/400 second. Okay. Let me have a small break to drink some water. Yeah. So you guys still with me? Okay. It's weird that I'm like talking to myself.
You have 70s audience right now. Yeah, I think everybody is still enjoying.
Okay, I hope so. How many audiences? Sorry.
70.
70. Oh, okay. Oh, 70. Okay, okay. Well, good to hear that. Okay. Okay, continue to talk about camera setting. And okay, other than shutter speed, the aperture from the largest 1.2 to the smallest f11, I use various apertures. And ISO can be from 100 to 1006 or even 3002. Myself, I'm not afraid of using high ISO. Yeah. Now, it sounds like 你講咗冇講咁，乜都用。Okay. But what I'm saying is that there's no absolute numbers for me. Okay. Settings are depending on the environment and the lighting conditions and also your concept. Okay. Most importantly is what is your expectation? What is the usage of the final output? I mean, you have to know that, okay? Will you print the image or it is just for online social media usage? It's all about your concept. What settings you use, it's not really important. There's no absolute settings for dance photography, okay? Now, take this image as an example. It was shot with a GFX 100, the 100 megapixel medium format monster from Fujifilm, yeah? I know the image will be printed in large size, I mean very large, around 12 feet long times 9 feet high, I think, yeah. And the print will be in close viewing distance. So the view will be very close to the print, like 1 meter away, okay? So I'm expecting a clean and sharp image with the highest detail possible captured. Okay, you can guess the setting I'll be using, right? So the lowest ISO, the fastest shutter speed, and also small apertures. Okay, and of course you need to use flash. If I'm not mistaken, the shutter speed was 1/135 seconds. The sync speed of the camera. Aperture was f8, and ISO, not mistaken, ISO 400. Okay, yeah, I think so. And I was using flash. And about flash, yeah, I will talk about flash more later. Okay. And other than outdoor or on location shoots, I also love to shoot dance portrait in studio. Okay, because in studio it is more comfortable, very convenient to do makeup, changing costumes, and you can even play your favorite music during the shooting process. Yeah, excuse me. Music, it's very important to me and also to the dancers when you're doing dance portrait shoots. Okay. Play music, it helps a lot. Yeah. Okay, so when you shoot in studio, most of the time it's all about using strobe light. Yeah, flash, right? When you're shooting in studio with strobes, shutter speed of the camera will not be the factor to freeze the action. Please bear in mind. Flash duration is the key factor. Okay. Faster flash duration will have more freezing power, eliminating motion blur, but relatively also means lesser power output. Make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Let's before I go into flash duration, let's talk about shutter speed. You all know about shutter speed. It is the time of the shutter curtain opening to let light hit the sensor. Correct? Makes sense, right? Faster shutter speed equals to better action freezing. Correct?
Yeah.
So if you have continuous light source like the sun, freezing action is very straightforward. Depends on the movement speed of the dancer. 1/500 seconds will be good enough to freeze the movement. But if you want better results, I would say 1/1000 seconds or faster would be ideal. Yeah. But when you're indoor or in a studio, it depends on flash to freeze the movement. So what is flash duration? Okay, I try to explain it now. It is the length of time for the actual pulse of the flash. This is the flash duration. Okay? So shorter pulse of flash, the shorter equals to better freezing ability. Okay, make sense? Understand? Okay.
Yeah.
So flash duration can be measured in either T.5 or T.1 time. Okay, so you might ask, what is T.5 or what is T.1? Okay, a bit technical, right? Just shut it. Yeah. T.5 times, it's the amount of time it takes for the 50% flash power to dissipate or to disappear. Then same goes to T.1 is the amount of time it takes for 90% flash power to dissipate. or you can say disappear. Okay, and bear in mind that most manufacturers will only give you the T.5 time of the flash. Okay, but if you want a flash that can truly freeze movement, always look for the flash T.1 time, as T.5 is about 3 times slower than T.1. Okay, and okay, if you want to know more about flash duration, the better way is to go Google with a more in-depth explanation. Okay, or maybe attend my upcoming photography workshops to have a hands-on or practical session after MCO. Okay, always remember, shorter flash duration equals to lower flash power. But what does it mean? Okay, it's easier to use an example like the flash that I've been using recently, the ProPhoto V10. Yeah, I was using it for quite some time. According to specification, the flash duration of T.1 time for V10 at full power is around 1/470 seconds. At half power, it's around 1/650 seconds. Okay, and at quarter power, it's around 1/1000 seconds. So the faster the flash duration, the lesser the flash power. Got it? Got it, right? And the lowest power output for the flash duration is around 1/5000 seconds. Yeah. And for this flash, there's also a freeze mode where the flash duration can be as fast as 1/16,000 seconds. It's very fast, the flash duration. Okay, that's 1/16,000 seconds. So when translating into dance portrait, if you want to freeze the dancer's movement, flash duration of at least 1/2000 seconds would be a safe number to get an action stopping shot without any motion blur. Yeah. So if you can have a flash duration of 1/2000 seconds, it will be more than enough to freeze the dancer's action. It doesn't matter what shutter speed you use, as long as it's within the sync speed of the camera. Like X series, the sync speed is around 1/250 seconds, right? Yeah, and GFX is 1/135 seconds. So set your shutter speed at that flash sync speed, or can be slower. But the flash duration is actually the key factor to determine of how you can actually freeze the dancer movement. Okay, but all these won't apply in a studio. Yeah, in a studio. If you are outside, outdoor, when there's ambient light, and that's a different kind of condition. Okay. Okay, let's talk about this shot. Sometimes I also like to experiment different lighting equipments for my dance portrait. Like this shot, I was using two profiles to create the light shape. You see that the light shape, yeah? I use profile to do it. Okay, what is profile? Profile is actually for stage usage. Yeah, on stage you'll see the lights, the different light shapes. They're actually profiles for dealing with all these shapes on stage. And there were 600 watt of continuous light source. So it's not flash, it's continuous light. Imagine the heat generated from the light. And this profile, it was not LED, it's tungsten light bulb. And it's very, very hot. But I always like to experiment, yeah, with different kind of light source. That's one thing I love to do in dance portraits. Keep on experimenting different kind of equipments and different ways of shooting it. Okay. I can make the shape in round, two legs. So using continuous light source, it's very straightforward. The light is always there. You just need to tell the dancers to move to move within the lit area, right? Within that source, you can jump, you can pose, or you can move within that area. Yeah. So you don't need to worry about the flash duration. just play with your shutter speed, of course, the aperture and ISO. Okay. All right. So you're still there, right? Let me have a sip of water. Okay. So this one, dance portrait is not always about freezing movements. Yeah. One of the beauties of working with dancers is that you can explore interesting composition, not just in terms of flexibility. Dancers also able to use their body creatively. Okay. Yeah. The glitters during the shoot, and it took them about 2 hours to apply the glitters and more than an hour to clean up the glitters on their bodies. Okay. Well, I guess this would be the first and last time doing a glittering sculpture. The idea is to do a sculpture of a dancer. So very less movement, just how you're going to sculpt the dancer's body into different composition, right? Well, so don't need to worry about the flash duration, just normal flash and normal shutter speed will help you to get dance portrait in a different way, not just only freezing the moment. Yeah. And one of my favorite ways is to use light shaping tools with grid. Light shaping tools that are grids inside. That's the light shaping tools that I always like to use for dance portrait in studio. Because I like to control the light spread on the dancers to create more impactful images, play with dramatic lighting to sketch the outline of the dancer's body, like this one. You see, you don't have to lead the whole body of the dancers, just part of this and like body line. It will help you create a different kind of dance portrait. Yeah, I'm not a flat light person. Yeah, I like to create this kind of more dramatic lighting effect. Yeah, something like this. So you see this photo is actually an X-T4, the latest camera. Well, be it natural or artificial light, continuous light or flash, photography, it's all about light, correct? If there's no light, there's no photo. Same goes to videography, right? So I want to talk a little bit about Fujifilm latest X series camera, the X-T4. I think X-T4 is the best combination of photography and videography functions. Yes, I'm exploring the possibilities of combining photography and videography right now. So this might be the best tool for me to do so. With the 6.5 stops internal stabilization, I guess I don't really need a gimbal to get stable video footage. Yeah, I will try that soon to combine photography and videography. Yeah. Okay, so I want to share a short video I made during MCO so that you can have a glimpse of how I shoot dance portrait using X-T4 and a single flash unit. So that's the short video I made during this MCO period. Yeah. And yeah, I did the shoot few days before MCO at Saloma Ridge. Quite a new shooting hotspots recently. Well, yeah, I mean before MCO. Okay. So I was using XT4 and a single unit of Pro Photo, right? So most of my shoots I do it solo. I mean, assistant depends on the situation and what I can get during that time. Okay, but because shooting solo is actually more convenient for you and the dancers to move around. Yeah, it's easier. So you saw me one hand holding the camera and the other hand holding the light. Yeah, it looks not so professional, but it's the faster way to do the shoot sometimes. Yeah. Okay. So you all know this Saloma Bridge. Many photographers visit the location during evening time to shoot the bridge and also the surrounding, right? So for me to avoid the crowd, I choose to visit Saloma Bridge with the dancers during midday, around 2 p.m. Yeah, I think 2 p.m. Yes, my guessing was the midday harsh light will goes very well with the bridge core and hard structure. I mean, imagining that. I'm imagining that. Okay. And yeah, the result turns out what I've expected. I'm sure you know why even know people during the day, and guess it was really hot. But the color and the structure of the bridge is also a good way to try out Fujifilm latest film simulation, the Eternal Bridge Bypass. I think this film simulation goes very well with this series of photos, and I love the outcome. Okay, to share a little bit about my feeling, I am very fortunate to have many crazy dancers around me, and this lady, Jiaxi, is one of them. She was crazy enough to work with me at this location, barefoot. Yeah, see, she was not wearing any shoes. Yeah, imagine how hot is the ground during midday, and she just keep on turning, jumping, dancing. Yeah, crazy dancers. Okay, and okay. So why I use Fujifilm? A little bit of marketing. Yeah, because Fujifilm, they have more than 80 years of color science. What do you mean by that? Fujifilm, they have experience in producing film. So they have all the knowledge and the color science about film and about colors. The image quality, definitely, whether it's an APS-C or a medium format camera, the image quality is there. It's just there with their lenses and everything. The image quality is top notch. I can tell you. Photography versus technology. From my observation, most brands they emphasize on technology to give you the latest function, the latest technology, the biggest megapixel, and the fastest speed or whatsoever. But they are not really into they are not like Fujifilm. Fujifilm, they hear their photographers, their users' opinion, and they improve their camera designs based on photographers' input. But I don't see, I mean, I don't see any other brands doing the same thing. Fujifilm does that. Not just technology, they also take care of the needs of photographers to create their cameras. Yeah. And the Kaizen philosophy. So any idea what Kaizen philosophy is? This is one of the things that I love about Fujifilm. Kaizen, yeah, is actually a Japanese word, but in Chinese, 改善, okay, means improve. they improve their camera with latest firmware update, like Explore I told you. Even the older cameras, when they have new functions, they have any other performance upgrade, they can do a firmware upgrade to let the old cameras have the latest function. Yeah, Fujifilm started this kind of a trend or a way, and I'm seeing other brands that also following these footsteps. Yeah, these are the main reasons I choose Fujifilm over any other brands. Okay, right. Okay, and classic yet stylish. I am pretty much a visual person. I like how my camera looks. Yeah, and Fujifilm with the classic retro style, it just caught my eyes. Yeah, I love how Fujifilm designed the cameras, be it X Pro or the XT series. I just love the feeling of the camera in my hands. Small, stylish, and retro look. That's why I love Fujifilm. Okay, I think I would like to share another videos of that created during this MCO period. It's a little bit about the crisis that we're facing right now. Right, so that's a short video I did together with my wife during this MCO period. It's like small contribution to all the uh, frontliners up there, and also all of you who are staying at home and stay safe. Okay, before I end my presentation today, I wish to share a belief of myself. As a photographer, don't just follow others' footsteps. Okay, try exploring on your own. Who knows? Who knows? You might discover. And I hope my sharing today will give you a spark of inspiration. But what I really want to say is that you can inspire others by doing self-discovery. So go out and explore, but after MCO. And wear your mask frequently, wash your hand, and stay safe. Okay, so it's more or less about my dance photography presentation. Kenny?
Okay. Thanks, Joey. I enjoy a lot for myself. And
Okay.
maybe we'll just move to the Q&A sessions. I think that there are some questions around. Some of our viewer is actually asking you on some questions. So
All
hopefully
right, sure.
we can help to answer on that as well. So
Okay.
let's have the first one. I think from Sazwan. Yeah, Sazwan is asking you actually how big is the dance photography in Malaysia, and also why and how different cameras can help you in that dance photography?
Okay. How big is dance photography in Malaysia? I dance photography it's a very niche. It's very niche. Really, it's very niche. And I know there are few dance photographers out there doing dance photography, but still it's not as popular as any other places with more established dance scene. I mean, in Malaysia, performing arts like dance is still in a developing state. That's what I can say. And and they are having tough time, especially during this MCO, right? The dance artists are having tough time, even any other performing artists are having tough time. So dance photography in Malaysia, it's really niche, yeah. And most of the dancers or performing artists, they are very passionate, but still they are very underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Dancer is one of the most underpaid profession, not just in Malaysia but in the whole world. So dance photography in Malaysia, it's really niche, and because there is practically not like any other dance company throughout the world. Like those big dance company, they have their own residential dance photographers. Yeah, they are able to hire dance photographers for their productions, for their dances. But in Malaysia, that's a different case. Most of we do not have a dance company as established as like those in Europe or US or anywhere. So dance photography, if you want to make your living doing dance photography, it's impossible. I mean, for myself, I do dance photography to out of my passion about dance, and also to try to help dancers to get more images so they can actually promote themselves, or even the smaller dance company to promote their company. It's kind of a helping situation. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, dance photography is not the dance genre that actually help to put food on my table. Yeah, but I'm hoping to see in the future when Malaysia has a more established dance scene, and they are willing to hire photographers to shoot for them. And yeah, I'm quite optimistic. Maybe in the future it might happen.
Okay.
Okay, I hope that explained. Answer the questions and why and how Fuji camera helps you in dance photography. Okay, using Fujifilm, it's Fujifilm cameras suit my taste. I mean, that's what I can tell you. I like how the cameras in my hand small, convenient to move around, and the image quality and the performance, it's very up to my expectation. Yeah, in terms of focusing speed, the image quality, the colors and everything. So in a way, all these are needed in not just dance photography, also any other genres of fashion, portraits, and commercial work. So Fujifilm system is very capable of all these things. Yeah. So it helps in not just in dance photography, it helps in any other field. Okay.
Okay. And there is another one from Ong, and he did actually ask you when you feel to shoot in blur mode.
Blur movement. Wow. Okay. It depends on when you are on site, when you're shooting like dance performance. If you watch dance performance frequently, you will somehow build up a kind of a feeling or the sense of dance to tell that, okay, if to freeze the movement, and for this scene I want to try some blur moving effect. It's very subjective. I can't really tell you when to do it, but try to shoot more, attend more dance concerts, and to watch more dances, and from that develop your own feeling or your own taste of capturing, whether it's a freeze movement or it's a motion or blur movement. It's very subjective. There's no absolute answers for that.
Okay, cool.
If you
Yeah,
feel feeling right.
yeah.
Okay. Mm.
And I guess the other question I guess is pretty much the same, I guess. From Jia Chen. Yeah, he's also asking about like what kind of shutter speed and recommended you can recommend during low light for dance photography.
It depends. Depends if you want to freeze the action or you want to capture a motion. Yeah. Like I say, if you want to freeze a movement, 1/400 second. That's the safe shutter speed for you to capture the movement. But when it's in dim condition, like on stage, dim condition, you won't be able to achieve such high shutter speed. So what you can do is you use higher ISO. Now, even sometimes ISO 3002 will also never give you the shutter speed of uh, the freeze the action. Yeah, but try to lock it at 3002. You should under a little bit. Use the largest aperture that you have, like 2.8 or even larger aperture, 1.4, 1.2. Yeah, try to shoot at low. I mean under 1 or 2 stops in raw and shoot raw and go back. Push the raw file into the proper exposure. That's what you can do. Try to maintain at that shutter speed, but shoot under 1 or 2 stops. Then go back using your raw file to push the photos. That's what you can do in low light. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Then there is another one from Ong. Ong is actually asking maybe he did mention on pro photo lighting, right? So
Okay.
he
Yeah.
also want to understand more on the light remote capability, compatibility with.
Mm, they, Pro Photo, I think they are the global partner of Fujifilm, right?
Yes.
So their lights are very compatible with Fujifilm system. I've used the XT3 and XT4 on Pro Photos. Works perfectly, flawlessly. I tell you, yeah. There's no compatibility issue.
Okay. Then we hope we answer your question on. And
Mhm.
David is actually asking about the current scenes of things.
Eh,
I think same with Plaza.
Yeah, I think more or less the same. Like I answered just now. So, what's the scene of dance photography community in Malaysia? I don't think there's a dance photography community for the time being. There's no community. Yeah. There are many photographers doing dance photography, mainly dance performance, but we do not have a community yet. Yeah, currently we don't have, but we do talk to each other sometimes. There are a few, dance photographers that I've talked to, communicate, but yeah, hopefully soon we can have a community, yeah, to share knowledge and to share information in the future. Currently, I don't think there's no community yet.
Okay. So I think we have one last question. The last questions. Okay, I think it's
Okay.
from John. John is asking you, why did you choose Fujifilm over
over brands. Yeah. Okay. I think I pretty much said about it just now. Using Fujifilm, it's kind of to me, it's kind of personal preference. You have different preferences, right? For me, my preference is the Fujifilm's build, the quality of the camera, and the feels in my hand, and also image quality is one thing. The colors, I love Fujifilm's colors. Yeah, even JPEG, the color, it's really, awesome. There are different film simulations where you can actually output the colors in different kind of film feel color. It's very convenient. It's very convenient. And whether it's APS-C, it can cope to all my requirements. Doesn't matter if it's APS-C, APS-C sensor. And if you really want a bigger sensor, go to medium format. Yeah. If you want me to compare Fujifilm with any other brands, yeah, one thing is for the color. I love the colors of Fujifilm compared to any other brands.
Yeah, sure. So, John, we hope that we did answer your questions. Yeah, because I guess we are into the sessions and to the last sessions already. So before we actually end the sessions with Joey today, I would like to thank you everyone again that actually stay until now. Yeah, we have around 42 right now. There are still people here listening to the end. So once again, I would like to thank everybody on today on Reset Day. So happy Reset Day again. And before we end these sessions, I would like to tell you guys that hold on. Joey,
Yes,
I got
right.
we just received another session another questions from our expert. Yeah, we have
Wow.
Exographer from Thomas. Thomas. Yeah, Thomas is actually asking you about these flash durations. Yeah, before we
Okay, okay.
end, it's quite interesting. Yeah, maybe you can share a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in the future, because if you don't know about flash duration, you have to really have a practical session. Yeah. So Thomas, when you want to come for Paku Teh, let's do it. And we talk about flash duration with the actual flash in hand.
Okay, Ken. Yeah. So before we end these sessions, let me do some so-called a marketing. I would like to do a shout out because tomorrow night we will be actually having a session with our ex-photographer Thomas Poon. So the session is at around 9 p.m. and we have another session on Saturday. So stay tuned with our Facebook page. Then we will be actually having posts. We'll be posting all the sessions before the event started. Yeah. So thank you once again from our ex-photographer, Mr. Joey. Yeah, thank you for having you today. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I hope that everybody did learn one or two from you and your perspective, and also um, your thoughts about dance photography and the dance industry and the community as well. Yeah, I think we did learn a lot from today because to be frank, this genre or the dance photography itself is very niche and
Yeah.
nobody's actually really looking into it. Yeah. So I mean,
Mhm.
I think that is an eye opener to those that actually are having that join these live sessions today. Yeah, hopefully.
Right.
So
I
any
hope
last
so. Yeah.
word from you? Yeah, great. Any last word from you before we end the sessions?
Okay. So I think the MCO is almost ending, but still, do what you need to do. Wash your hand, use a face mask, and try to avoid the crowded area and stay safe. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Yeah, remember to wash your hands. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. Let's meet
Bye.
you on tomorrow night. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.